Hi there. Today we are making fried rice. Now, fried rice is
awesome.
well, yes, it is. Fried rice can be breakfast. It can be a snack. It can be lunch. It can be a part of your dinner. It could be all of your dinner, depending on what you put in it. Today we're making one that does have some dried shrimp in it, but that's totally optional. It also has an egg in it, and while we like the egg in there, also optional. So you could make this vegan. You absolutely could make it vegetarian, ovo-lacto-vegetarian, or you could go full-on carnivore and add little bits of ham or bacon or pork or whatever to it. If you're doing the bacon, you're going to do that a little bit early on in the process. We're not showing you that today, but just so that you render the fat out and that the yumminess all gets.
Are you saying there's one magical animal that bacon, ham, and pork all comes from at the same?
Yes, Homer Simpson reference there. I know my husband well. So moving on, you can make this with white rice or brown rice. Today we happen to be making it with brown rice because that's what we have in the fridge. You want this to be made with cooked rice. Do not cook your rice so that you can make fried rice right away because it won't work well.
2 days is best, right?
At least overnight in the fridge, at least. Anytime I've tried to do it with less time than that, the rice sticks, it's not the right texture, it just doesn't work well. So this is for leftovers, and the same for the things that you put into it other than the rice. Today we have some frozen peas in here, and you don't need to thaw them, you can just throw them in as is. But if we had, say, green beans in the fridge that were left over from a previous dinner, chop those up, throw them in there. So you can use it to use up your veggies, you can use it for scraps of meat like little bits of chicken or pork, like I said, that's left over. There's some things that are essential. I'll make sure I note those down below. There's some things that are totally optional, also noted. So let's get started on this, okay? I'm doing it in a wok. I highly recommend woks, but if you don't have one, I get it. What you want is your highest possible temperature with your pan, your frying pan, if you don't have a wok, that has the most surface area, okay?
Fire it up.
And we want to get it hot. So that's at full. And
It's not a screaming hot stove either.
No, it's not. It's not a bad stove, and it is gas, which is better than electric, but it's not going to be like a wok burner, a dedicated wok burner that has more BTUs and really cooks and does what you want it to do. So we're just heating that up, and then I've got sunflower oil here. You can use any neutral oil. If you do canola oil, peanut oil, something with a higher smoke point is your best bet, and sunflower is what we use around here.
So olive oil, no.
No, this is not where you want the flavor of olive oil. That would be bad. Plus, you don't want to get olive oil up to that temperature either. We have one shallot chopped. You could use onion if you didn't have shallot. This is the dried shrimp that we were talking about. Okay. So we buy these in Chinatown. If you go to Chinatown, you will see these dried food stores all over Asia where they have these baskets and buckets outside of dried things like mushrooms and stuff. So the dried shrimp come there. The more expensive they are, the better quality they are. We try to go kind of down the middle. You probably don't want the cheapest of the cheapest ones, but I'm not going to pay the outrageous amounts either. If you don't have a Chinatown near where you live, go into a Chinese grocery. Vancouver also has T&T, which is a grocery store. You can buy them. They'll be more expensive.
Probably order them online too.
Yes, we keep them in the freezer, and we just take out what we need. So that's about 1 tablespoon chopped. We've got some mushrooms, an egg, rice, peas, scallions, white pepper, soy sauce, and sesame oil. And I'm feeling like that's pretty hot, so we're going to put in about a tablespoon of oil, and then we're throwing in the shallots right off the bat. Because the temperature is high, and unfortunately I'm going to have to turn on the fan here, I think, which kind of sucks. I'll just have to talk over it. So, because the temperature is high, you got to keep things moving. In go the dried shrimp. Get those moving around in there. And then the mushrooms. Allow the mushrooms to kind of do their thing. I think I had not quite enough oil in there, so I'm just going to give a little drizzle. That's better. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push all of that off to one side.
Yes, it is.
What?
Yes, it is.
Yes. And I'm going to put just a smidge, like a teaspoon of oil in there, and I'm going to crack the egg into it. And then you just scramble the egg in the pan. And it looks like it's sticking, but that will come up as we continue to do the rice and everything else. Okay. So next we're going to put the rice in there. I was going to go for about 2 cups rice. I think this might be a little bit more than that, but that's okay. Again, you're using up what you have in your fridge. It's not an exact recipe, it's an idea.
This is one of my favorite breakfast foods.
Yeah, Rob likes it for breakfast. I do sometimes as well, especially if we finish it with a little chili oil. That's really nice. But tonight we're having it for dinner. So now what I'm going to do is put the rice in the, sort of in the center. Oh no, first I'm putting these in, sorry. Getting ahead of myself. So we got the peas there. Like I said, they're still frozen. That's totally fine. Scallions as well. Green onions. And half a teaspoon of white pepper. Now, if you don't have white pepper, can you use black pepper? Absolutely. But white pepper, I think, is more traditional here. The flavor is a little bit different, and we always have some around. We buy a big bag of it in Chinatown and then put it into a jar when it gets home. So the amount of oil I've used here, which was the tablespoon to start off with, and then about a teaspoon after that, makes for a nice fried rice where each grain of rice has a little bit of a coating, but it's not greasy, because I really don't like greasy fried rice. Okay, so now I'm going to put the soy sauce in, and the way we're doing that is we go around the outside. If you were to pour your soy sauce straight in the middle, what you're going to get is a clump of black or very dark brown colored rice in the center. It's hard to get it through everything else. So we're going to go around the outside, and it hits the heat like that, and it produces a very different effect than if you pour the soy sauce in the middle. That smells so good. So,
Can't wait.
that is it. We're going to add a little drizzle of sesame oil. Probably quarter to half teaspoon, not a lot. And there you have fried rice. Now, you can add, I'm going to turn off the fan because we don't need it anymore. At this point, Rob likes to sprinkle sesame seeds on top.
It's festive.
You can chop up some cilantro and put it on there, or crispy shallots would be really nice.
Chili oil?
Chili oil is my personal fave. But you know what? If you're doing a not really Chinese kind of meal, slap some hot sauce on there. Like you could totally do Tabasco or Frank's Red Hot if that's what you like. So the thing about this is that it's very versatile. You can put different flavors in there depending on what you like.
Oh, that smells awesome.
It really does,
And
doesn't it?
brown rice is very satisfying.
Okay, so we are a big, Rob and I, not the boys quite so much. We love short grain brown rice, what I call hippie rice. I would rather have that than white rice. But if we're having Indian food, we go white basmati because I don't like brown basmati. If we're having certain kinds of Chinese food. We'll do white jasmine rice, certainly jasmine for Thai food as well. But if we're having food that's not necessarily specific to an area, the short grain brown rice,
Homeless rice.
chubby hippie rice will always have a special place in my heart and is always my preferred rice. It's a bit chewy, a bit nutty, and it just has so much more going for it than the white rices do. So that's what we're having for dinner tonight with a couple of other. We've got some broccoli with oyster sauce. Check out the blanching video for that. And then I think Rob's going to do a chicken dish with peppers.
And peanuts.
And peanuts, red peanuts. So that is our dinner. I hope you have a great dinner, and I hope you try fried rice.